All frucked up, July 11th, 2025, day 68 on the sugar diet. I find it interesting that all the sugar, all the fruit that I tried to take in the early days that caused severe cramping, severe bloating, to the point that like none of my jeans fit. And I was wearing joggers to work because I was that bloated. That fructose intolerance, I've moved beyond it. I've gotten past it. And yet still, I choose to implement a primarily starch-based diet. Uh, but yeah, I found my groove. I found my comfort zone. I am adding more lean protein. So the people in the comments section that encouraged me to go carnivore, they're still not going to be happy. But hey, at least I'm leaning more in that direction instead of like in danger of becoming a vegan. Not that there's anything wrong with being a vegan, in my opinion. Like, do your thing, knock yourself out. And from the ethics point of view, yeah, like I firmly support the no cruelty to animals. So, to the extent that if I ran a meat packing plant, heaven forbid, I would never want that. But if I did, there would have to be a more humane way to take it from living creature to lean protein on my plate. I don't know what that looks like, but yeah, I'm including more lean protein. I don't know that I feel great about it, but I feel great consuming it. I feel great on it, so to speak. Um, yeah, this is a meandering mess of a video already, but I think the things that served me the best over the time that I spent, doing a low carb, high fat diet, a ketogenic diet, and all the fasting in various forms, intermittent fasting, prolonged fasting, even dry fasting, it was the idea that on day one, when I initiated my first fast and I went 30 hours, that first attempt, I also started a spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet that had its genesis on April 1st, 2017, I've maintained up to this day. I was in it poking around and adding data today. So it's like 431 weeks later, and I'm still maintaining it. My point with that is that a gentleman that I talked to recently, rather famous in the bodybuilding and coaching space, he was talking about keeping a journal. And I think that could be really valuable for some people. You could write down your scale weight. You could write down your food intake. You could write down, any inspirational thing that comes to mind. Just doing that brain dump, writing down what you're thinking about that day. That could be helpful. And, if not helpful, it might even be amusing to look back on someday and be like, wow, like I had a dark thought that day. Wow, look at that. I must have been really, really hungry. But you might get some utility out of it too. So, the benefits that I've had from keeping a spreadsheet and entering my weight daily since April 1st, 2017, April Fool's Day when I started fasting, and I thought it was dangerous, so I thought that was appropriate. It gives me a chuckle. Some of the value that I derive from that is like on significant dates in my life, I can go back and be like, oh, well, I remember this event and I was feeling good, and oh, there's my body weight, and oh, there's what I was eating that day. And so it's like, well, to some degree, if I wanted to get back to that lean physique that I had at whatever date, then I could just emulate those behaviors. Or having come to the awareness that maybe fasting wasn't the greatest thing for my metabolism overall, for my thyroid specifically, then I can at least go, well, I was focused on clean eating, and maybe I didn't need to do that 110-hour fast, but here's how I broke the fast, and here's how I was feeling, and there's utility there. It's like, well, that meal would be pretty easy to replicate. And just the journaling aspect in general for our own mental health, I think there's a lot of value there as well. And then to tie it into the 6 pillars of self-esteem by Nathaniel Branden, there's a lot of introspection that's in that book. And then, using sentence stems, that was one of Nathaniel Branden's protocols, where it's like, if I was a healthier person, I would, and then you write like 10 different, I think it was 10, might have been 6, but write 6 to 10 different endings for that sentence stem. If I was a bit more committed to my diet and healthy lifestyle, I would, and then you write down all the different sentence endings to that sentence stem. There's a lot in Nathaniel Branden's book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. There's a lot in there about self-acceptance and, self-love. There's a lot of benefits to that book. So if you took whatever book inspires you and like incorporated that into your health and wellness pursuits, maybe that's not a great word. But yeah, like take the approach that everything that you do in your day, I don't know why that light's bothering me right now. You wouldn't think so with the cap on. But if you incorporate some of these self-development books into your health and wellness and then just commit to that daily, this isn't the thought that I had a moment ago, and I like the thought I had a moment ago far better. But just be committed to yourself. Committed to yourself and use that journaling and, look at any limited beliefs that you have. Look at any negative self-talk that you have, and then just commit to yourself like, wow, if I was a more loving person to myself, I would not make comments like that. Not entertain these negative thoughts. There's so many different variations on that theme. But I think you might be surprised, much like I was with the spreadsheet, that weeks, if not years, if not almost a decade later, you're still incorporating that practice of journaling, recording your weight. And, it doesn't have to be super detailed, or it can be like so granular that you've got every little thing written in that journal or entered into a spreadsheet. So you can look back and make adjustments, optimize things, right? So, yeah, hopefully I didn't butcher that whole delivery of what I was trying to say about the value of journaling. But I think it can be a really valuable tool, especially when it comes to the mindset that we have to is probably too strong of a phrase, but taking the approach of, this is important to me, so I'm going to analyze my own psychology. Because a lot of times I think we get caught in the trap of thinking psychology is all about all the other crazy people, and we forget that we're a crazy human too. So there's probably value in keeping a journal, putting whatever in it that you want, and even if you don't reflect back, even if you don't go and like flip pages back in, your health and wellness journey. I think the word journey is overused, but that's what came to mind. Even if you don't reflect back on previous days, you're like, nope, I'm moving forward. I'm not looking in the rear view, but just writing everything down. I think that's still cathartic in some way. It's still advantageous to do so. And when you start working through some of the self-development stuff, or, random musings about diet, like if I could create my perfect diet, what would it look like? What would I be able to eat? If I could eat any food combination under the sun, like what would I combine? What would be my ideal, like just crazy indulgent meal? And I think if you did that a few times, after a few iterations, you might see a common theme. Like, well, I was craving these 10 foods on this day, and then on this day I was craving these 5 other foods, and then like 3 of them overlap. So, that's interesting. Oh, and look here, on this day I was craving these other 6 foods, and there's an overlap yet again. I don't know. Maybe that's just a random thought, but there could be value there for someone. So I'm going to end the torture for you. I'm going to stop talking and shut this video down. So I hope you had a great evening. See ya.